Okay, this is what, I know a lot of you've heard about mPower. Basically what it is another type of financing available for folks who want to do energy efficiency or water conservation improvements. And that's it. That's what it is limited to by law. So it allows folks to do solar, but we start with encouraging everyone to do the upgrades that will make the house the most efficient it can be before putting the solar on. So we talk about loading orders for those. Next slide. So we also, one of the things we know that case liens cause problems with sales, especially if you're working with FHA-backed loans. Now, FHFA, there's so many acronyms there. Federal Housing Authority and the Veterans Administration both allow case liens to stay on loans they back. But that's not a significant portion of the market, is it? A lot of them are Fannie and Freddie backed, and Fannie and Freddie say, no, we will not allow that lien to stay. So what we've been telling folks who come to our program is that if you plan to sell or refinance, don't use PACE. It's not a good idea. There are people who still go, no, I plan to pay it off, or no, okay. Consumer can do what they want. We've warned them. So what we created, after telling them these things, is we have a series of local lenders who are portfolio investors, so they're not Fannie or Freddie, and they locally will help folks refinance or help with a sale if they need. We also have a whole bunch of references to other federal programs, and there are some state programs to help with those kinds of things. So, next slide. Okay, a lot of folks want to know what the costs are. mPower is actually one of the least expensive PACE programs around. It is the only program in Placer County. It means we have local control. The Board of Supervisors are the ones who have approved the program. It's operated out of the Treasurer Tax Collector's Office. It's operated on a cost basis only. It has to cover its cost, and that's it. The only folks who are paying for this program are the ones who use it. So it's not a taxpayer thing. This is something that is organized so that if you take advantage of the program, you support the program. If you don't use it, it doesn't affect you. We have one-time costs of $500 for residential and $1,300 for commercial. There's a title report, and we do a title search, and so everyone understands. We want to make sure that anybody who's going through the program is prepared for this and is in a good situation, which means we do the first title search. And as you know, when you do a title search, all kinds of fun things come up that people don't realize are on there. We get those cleared up, make sure, especially that we had one person who'd actually refinanced their home 4 times, and the first mortgage was still on the books as a lien. Don't know how that happened. We do that same bankruptcy search and title search a second time towards the end. And we always tell folks, don't go doing things like changing your name, adding somebody to the property who's got a bankruptcy, doing all kinds of things. We've had people do this. It's kind of like that farmer's commercial where they're always telling you, we've had these different things that happened. Oh yes, we've seen one. So, and a recording fee, which averages about $66. It's an annual cost of $25. So that's the extent of what we've got. The rate for mPower is 6%. Now that will adjust on the APR if people decide to roll in any of their fees or the capital interest, which is the prepaid interest that happens until their first installment is paid. Next slide. The Placer County Board of Supervisors, when everything changed with FHFA, eliminated the prepayment penalty. Folks can pay it off or pay it down at any time. And we have folks doing that all the time. We have had several people who've made a 20-year assessment commitment and come in at 5 years and said, hey, I got a windfall, I'm paying it off. Great, that works. Others have come in and paid it down. It's then re-amortized, and their individual assessment and the annual is recalculated. There may be some prepaid interest. When we say maybe, because depending on which component of the program, there may not be, because we've worked it out with the bond providers. Okay, next slide. Any questions on that?
Yes. I first of all just want to say thank you for always being available. I've talked to you numerous times on the phone. You've been very professional. You've helped us out quite a bit. And I know it's sometimes frustrating working with us. Can you perhaps explain to us why it is that you can't subordinate to a first lien?
It's not allowed by California law, it's in the tax code. When someone says they're doing subordination, well, contractual subordination is only, and that's just for third-party providers. Placer County is not a third-party provider. When they do that, they're actually going through and saying, okay, we as the PACE financer are subordinating our lien to the first mortgage. Well, that's great. Tax collector, if that person defaults on their taxes, will still sell the property at 5 years. It's in the code. You cannot take away the power in a contract from the tax collector. Sorry, guys, you can't do that. So that's why it's technically not truly subordination. It also, just so you know, when someone does contractual subordination, it kind of ties the hands of the tax collector who has options available to them to help homeowners and property owners who are having trouble with either delinquency or default. There are techniques and ways to help a homeowner make it right, and that is subordination in that case can be a little tricky. Now, in Placer County, we're a little bit more diligent. As soon as that first payment's due in December, we wait long enough for all the mail to come in, get processed, and then we pull the rolls and we start looking. We call the delinquencies and we especially check in on the folks who have a PACE lien. What's going on? Are you okay? Is there something we need to know about? We don't have any defaults in Placer County because we are very diligent about making sure these things are taken care of. And yes, real estate agents, if you have a property with PACE on it, please call us. We are happy to give you as much information as we can. We can tell you about all of the upgrades that were done. In many cases, we have the first year pre-improvement PG&E reports. We get those, a full 12 months. We can help you figure out, well, what were they paying for electricity before? And we have the agreement, we're working with PG&E and the U.S. Department of Energy through the portfolio manager to find out what the savings is. So contact us. We'll give you as much as we can, make it as easy as we can. One of the other things that we recommend to homeowners is you can get different utilities provide this service, and other assessors will provide an audit of the home and give you a score, give you a home efficiency. The home score, which is what DOE uses. There are some other ones out there where they will come through and say, okay, this is the assessment, this is how this home rates. That might help you with your marketing in terms of getting folks that information. Other questions?
I have the two-part question. You said the interest rate is 6%. Is that a fixed rate?
Yes, it's fixed rate. Where it changes and adjusts is if someone decides they don't want to put anything down, they want no out of pocket.
And then the second question, you mentioned if they do a principal reduction that you will recast the loan.
Yes.
So it's based on the balance at the time of the assessment?
No,
Or how is that
they
calculated?
go through and they pay down, and then we take that amount that they have as balance and re-amortize that.
Thank you.
Yes.
I did a refinance with one of those case loans, and we paid it off, and it was a real problem because the payoff did not include everything. So it said on there, here's the principal balance, but there's interest going to be due later on down the line.
Right, you were in one of those.
And it was a really big problem, and we had to, escrow had to hold money back.
Yes.
And the good news is the lender allowed us for the title company to hold the money back, and actually I'm just now thinking I should check on that because I've just been several months to make sure that it happened and the borrower got back whatever extra money they were supposed to. But anyway, it was a real problem.
Yeah, it can be. And that's why we tell folks, if you're going to sell or refinance, don't use PACE. One of the things, we have two aspects of PACE right now. We have the Placer County version, which was put into place in 2009, 2010. And then we've moved over now to Sierra Valley Energy Authority because we've had to switch over bonds and all these kinds of things. It's all this financing stuff at the county. Under those programs, I believe you probably, 2014 maybe, 2015 that you did it, your PACE lien?
I did it last year.
Last year, okay, prior to us going to SVEA. With that one, under the terms with the bond holder, we have periods of time when there's interest that's due. The county pays that interest. And unfortunately, when someone goes to do a payoff, depending on where it falls, that prepaid interest has to be calculated, and we don't calculate it. We have to rely on a third party to do that. And so that does interfere and kind of cause delays. We're trying really hard to make sure that we're as efficient as possible, getting a solid payoff estimate and getting all of that to you guys to help make that easier. So I know we had frustration, apologize for that. We're working on getting it as efficient as we can to make it easier and as easy as we possibly can.
Alexia, we have time for one more question here.
And mine might be for mPower, it might be for a lender or a title person in the room, but I've had an incredibly difficult time getting my mPower attached to my escrow account, my impound. So,
Wow.
yeah, so for whatever reason, I don't know where the disconnect is, maybe, can you explain how I can maybe get that remedy?
What we tell folks is we give them, everyone gets a fair lending estimate, and then at the end, they get an actual, this is what your installments are gonna be. And you can calculate if you have an escrow or an impound account, what that monthly payment would be. And we advise, let your lender or escrow company know that I'm going to need to increase my taxes by this much to cover this. If you're having problems, get a hold of us and let us talk with you and see what's going on and who your lender is. Because we can provide documents that might help, but they should adjust it for what, my taxes are going up by this amount each year, can you adjust it? And they should just, it should be a straight process. If you're having trouble, figure out why.